add background color to your painting. See how I overlap the background markings? Allow the background markings to overlap. That avoids a white halo around your subject matter. The darkest dark should be on the dog tag and not on the background. This still is a little dark in here, but it may blend okay. So I'm just going to make sure I add a little white on top of that. See how I did that? See this one here? I'm going to add a little white on top of it, and it tones it down. Add as much or as little as you want. And that should be enough markings to kind of float in the background. In case you don't want to use anything else in the background, that one will suffice for now, and then you can add more patterns later. You can always add more patterns later. Just trying to look like some empty spots. You don't want it to look like empty spots here and there. But you can always, sorry about the feet, you can always add more later, and that will do. So now this has the background color or some background patterns on there. Then we can come back and you're going to clean up the edges. I'll show you how you clean up the edges. Okay, what I want to show you, hopefully you'll be able to see this. You want to clean up the edges. You see how this is really not a straight edge, just kind of wavy. You want to clean up that straight edge. So we will have to make the object a little larger. Here you can see the edge where I did the outline from the charcoal drawing. So we'll have to cover that up also. So you take some tape. This tape only lasts very, very short period of time. I'm going to apply the tape to the outside area. The area that I don't want to paint, which is here, I'm going to paint that inside area. I'm going to make the object slightly larger so that I can cover up that outside edge. Now, if you paint and then rub it down really good near the edge, not the outside, the edge, make sure that background pattern has had a chance to dry. If you paint this background area, then doing this edge, worrying about covering it up, making the object larger will not matter. You won't have to do that. So I'm going to place this, the outside area of here, since this is the largest. I am using what is it called? Oh. A vanishing point that is off to the side. Therefore, this edge is going to be smaller than this edge. This will be narrower than that edge. So it looks a little off, but perspective makes it right because it is just a little off. Let's see if you can see that. And I will do the other one the same way. It will make it slightly larger, which won't matter much to me, but when you're first doing it, you're thinking, this is not how I wanted it. So that is done on there, and then it won't matter whether you have a flat edge brush or a round tip brush, because you're using this line to make the marks. I'm going to come in here with a little white right up near. You're going to paint right over the tape also. And that's on both sides. I didn't come all the way to the tip, to the edge, but I will come almost, not quite, because I have to round those edges. Remove my water. And for this part, I'm going to use black straight off the palette, which is darker than what I started with before. But I'm using it black straight off the palette because this is the very tip or the very edge. And I want you to be able to see that. Because I can't see it. That doesn't even feel like it's, yeah, it's not. So this is going to be made a bit bigger. Oops. And before it dries, as you can see that before it dries, just gently peel this off. And it will give you a nice, clean, straight edge. See that edge? This part will be free-handed. We'll deal with that. But this tape should be removed before the paint has a chance to dry. Otherwise, it will not only peel the paint, but rip the paper. And you can see right in here, this will be free-handed around. So it got a little larger, but from a distance and sort of up close, you can see that that is a straight edge. Much better than doing it freehand. Add paint to the immediate area of the chain, but avoid making this the focal point. You can add light colors and dark colors in various areas around the chain and give more detail to this area where the chain either comes over the top of the tag or underneath the tag. This area where the chain comes through the tag can also be addressed with a few strokes of ink. Then step back and look at it, making sure that the chain is not the focal point. In this area here, the chain looks like it's getting a little too much attention, so I will end up toning this down a little bit. I'll work on this hole that the chain is threaded through with maybe a stroke of ink, but I will tone this down with lighter shades of gray similar to this, because this area is darker than this area, and it's a little darker than I would like because my eyes are drawn to these dark areas here and here for the chain. There is still some burnt sienna from when I outlined it, so I am able to make the chain a little larger, but as you notice, I'm not really making these balls. I'm keeping them out of focus.